Whew, hey, how's it going? Thought it'd be a good idea to record a video for you guys while I'm in here dying. So let's get this started. First, I don't want my sweat dripping all over the place while I'm doing this video, so put my gi on. This is for my benefit, not for yours. Alright, let's bad boy tie on. Alright. So, there's a few things that I wanted to kind of go over. I was thinking this while I was killing myself with Hindu push-ups. So, start with the first thing, right? So, now, I've done a lot of stuff. I've done boxing, some kickboxing, sanda, karate, some Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, done a bunch of stuff. But I love mixing and matching tactics and things from different styles for different purposes, right? So, the one thing I really love doing within my stand-up striking, like particularly my punching. If you've seen other videos, you probably realize I love punching. It's my thing. Also, I'm getting older. My hips and my knees don't want to move the way they want to, so I want them to. So it's easier for me just to stick with what I got up here, with some elbows and knees, right? So there's that. But let's look at the jab, right? Now, if we look at standard jab, there's no really a standard jab, because like everyone has a different style of jab. There's like a few jabs that I usually rotate through depending on the situation that I'm in, right? So let me get a stand up, right? So I'm going through from my stand up, right? I can either just through just a straight standing jab, just from here, punch out, fist out, comes right back, right? Would be considered that textbook jab, right? Or I can have the drop step jab or the jolt, right? So it's here, and I without setting my weight back, I drop my weight forward and I extend this for a jab, right? It's a lot stiffer. It hits harder than a standard jab. Some people will say that you're overextending yourself, but when you get the timing and you use this for a counter, it works perfectly. But I digress, right? Other jabs that I like to use is I like to rotate my lead hip. So I go from a more square stance and it blades me off, right? And this rotation in the hip allows me to shoot my jab out, but it gives me a little more length on that jab, right? What would normally be if I'm using this, so this would be my standard jab, right? You see how my knuckles are stopping right here along that line. If I was to turn my hip, rotate into it, it gives me a little bit more extension, right? So here, past this line, which originally was just here, okay? And a bunch of other ones. But what I want you to try is, we're gonna take just the Seigen tsuki from karate, which is just this punch right here. It's a very short range, short distance punch, because I mentioned in the previous video, karate is about being in the pocket, so it's short range striking, okay? But we're going to use this in context, in a sparring context, right? So this is just one of those tactics that you can use, and I've used this in my sparring as well. So what we do is we don't give our true range of our jab or our cross when in our sparring, right? So our opponent can't really guess or at least have an accurate estimate of what our range is, right? So if we keep, like we're just flicking the jab out, but we keep the shoulder attached to the rest of the body, the torso, it gives a false sense of distance to whoever we're sparring, right? So if we go through a round and I'm playing around, but I'm only extending this far, right? They get used to this range, and then they start to slip or move just enough to where the jab doesn't hit. Which, if you think about it, boxing and stand-up striking is a game of inches. You don't want to move, if you're slipping or if you're dodging a strike, you don't want to move completely out of the way, because it's going to get you out of position where it's going to be more difficult for you to land your strike, because you have to reset return, right? So the best thing is for you to move just enough for that shot to move just enough to where it doesn't hit you. And so we're getting that, we're programming our opponent. So we go from this short strike here. We're still moving, we're still throwing, right? We're still moving around, right? Just boom, hitting from there. But we're keeping the strike short. All right? And then they start to move a little bit out the way, because they're starting to get, you can only jab out here. So I just need this much to not get hit by it, right? Now, if I measure out the distance of just this jab, right? It's here. It's within arm's length. Now, if I was to truly extend my shoulder, because I still have my shoulders are pretty flexible, so I'm able to extend much more than just this, right? So if we use the door frame right here, you see where my hand stops at the door? We'll start here, right? You see where it stops? If I was to extend my shoulder, this is how much extra range I have from here to here. So now, thinking about it, if you start to incorporate the karate Seigen tsuki, the distance of just being the close range punching, get the person to start to move just a little bit out of the way, right? Get them just out of the way with the strike. Once they get it, you have to start hitting them before they start getting you with counters, right? And you're gonna throw them off, because their distancing is gonna be off. So now they have to stop and reorient to the new distance. So it's gonna take them a little bit more time. They'll fire off shots, don't get me wrong. But you're gonna have the element of surprise, and then you can start going in for the blitzes and your shots when you need to. So that's this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next one.